Stop believing propaganda. Think for yourself. If there ever was a more ironic slogan to put on a billboard, I don't know, man. This just takes the biscuit. Don't believe propaganda. Apart from this one. Genius. It's absolute genius. Special thank you to my YouTube members and patrons for supporting the channel and supporting my content. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today I'm going to be taking a look at a subreddit that I've been following for a while now, but never actually made a video on, and that is r/SelfAwareWolves. This is a subreddit dedicated to just the most self-aware of posts among the wolves. In case it wasn't obvious, it's an ironic title because these people are neither self-aware nor wolves. But yeah, it's mostly conservatives and Republicans, particularly MAGA Republicans, who basically argue against their own points better than the people who are arguing with them in some cases. They just make the perfect cases against themselves. Let's take a look, shall we? Oh, but before I begin, I'm gonna be live, and this week I am actually getting sedated. This is the one that I mentioned last week that I might be, well, this time today, as of the stream coming out in a couple of hours after this video, I am actually gonna be sedated. So we're gonna see what the stream is like. I might have to call it early or cancel it, but I don't know, drop by my Twitch to find out. I'll be live in 2 hours. Now we'll take a look at the subreddit. Democrats pass resolution condemning white religious nationalism. Absolutely, truly terrifying. Wake up, people. Now it's interesting that someone would be terrified of people condemning white religious nationalism. But anyway, I decided to actually take a look at, you know, some of the things that were actually mentioned in this, just to see exactly what conservatives are scared of, you know. So, DNC resolution condemning all forms of white nationalism and the rise of extremist religious ideologies. So we're already off to a start where the article had left out words such as extremist. Anyway, it then further goes on to say, white nationalism and white nationalist hate crimes have been on the rise over recent years, and recent Department of Homeland Security threat assessments have found violence by white supremacist extremists to be the most persistent threat in the United States. Theocracy is incompatible with democracy and religious freedom in a pluralistic society. Makes sense. So basically, it's a thing that says that, hey, white supremacist nationalist terrorism is bad. And also it mentions a few times that a lot of these people were flying Christian flags and Christian slogans. You just have to look at the Jan 6 event to see like the slogans some of these people were carrying. And on top of that, yeah, theocracy is not compatible with democracy. A democracy is voted officials. If you create a theocracy, which is a government that's built upon religiously elected officials, it doesn't work, especially with religious freedom. People that don't believe in your religion, your theocracy just isn't applicable to them. So anyway, that's what it's denouncing for conservatives to be going, oh, I can't believe they're doing this to us. It's like, hey, if you're called out by that, what do you think that says about you? What do you think it says? I don't know. But anyway, I just had to point out the fact that I think that the bill is a kind of a waste of time anyway. I think when it comes to making a bill, wasting your time on just announcing something when you're not actually making a move to do anything about it is a waste of time. And I also wanted to point out that the Democratic Party, not the only people doing this. After all, the Republican Party did pass a bill that the concurrent resolution denounces socialism and opposes the implementation of socialist policies in the United States. They passed a bill that just went, we don't like socialism, not actually doing anything about it, just saying we don't like it, which is equally a waste of time. But the difference is one of these is a thing denouncing hate crimes and theocracy and, you know, terrorist organizations, and the other one is going, we don't like these political beliefs that have aspects utilized by the majority of the first world. No, we don't like them. That's socialism. That's bad. Like, you know, universal healthcare, universal basic income, you know, That's bad. We don't want them in America. Every other country in the first world functions with them, but we don't want to. We like poverty. It's a waste of time from both parties. But like, at least one of them was actually denouncing something bad. I'm a conservative, and I completely trust the vaccine. I don't understand why you guys hate it so much. Most conservatives I know don't hate the vaccine. They hate that it was basically forced on anyone, and any conversation questioning any aspect of it is immediately shut down. Yeah, I get that, but why the conspiracy? Isn't that how the left always discredits us? Maybe we should stop. What could r/conservative stop with conspiracies? You must be new here because that's not gonna happen. But also, I just have to point out the absolute lie that is most conservatives I know don't hate the vaccine. Or, well, actually, that's anecdotal evidence regardless, but a lot of conservatives were heavily against the vaccine in general, and a lot of them still are. So saying that like, oh, they never hated the vaccine, they just hated the restrictions, is just a flat out lie. Restrictions have lifted, and so many of them still refuse to get it out of just hating the vaccine and nothing else. Man, I think the whole defund the police thing is incredibly stupid, but giving them more money might actually be worse, given how little they actually accomplish. The whole point is how little they accomplish. That's why the subject is there. This is the thing that's so commonly misconstrued, and I think the issue is the statement defund the police, because it leaves too much open to speculation, okay? The point people are making isn't that we should just remove money from the police force, right? The point we are making is that money should be used elsewhere in ways that would benefit society better, okay? Instead of funding the police to pursue drug users, not even drug sellers, but criminalizing drug users, right? Instead, put the money that would be used there towards rehabilitating drug users. Put it onto systems that help drug users. Instead of giving cops the armory of soldiers, you know, arming every single one of them with guns and teaching them that kill shots are priority, remove the amount of money spent on guns for police and teach them how to de-escalate situations, you know, by talking or by using non-lethal force. There's so many things that could be avoided by reducing the budget or putting that money elsewhere that would save lives and better society as a whole, but people just hear defund the police and go, oh, you want crime to happen. On the other hand, if money was put towards social security and helping people, if people weren't constantly in fear of poverty, in fear of homelessness, etc., you'd probably get a lot less break-ins because a lot less people would feel it necessary to rob people. If you have universal income, you have people that are able to live even if they are unable to get a job, they're not going to start stealing money to get by. Store this on another sub, and all the NPCs were shitting on these folk for complaining about losing their freedom. What has happened to this country? Public education. Oh no! The masses are getting educated and are getting smarter, and they're suddenly against conservatives. How could this happen? What? Who knew that conservatism relies on uneducated people? But no, like in all honesty, the whole post is a throwaway, but the thing that really got me about it is that the usage of NPC as a term has taken off so heavily in like right-wing and especially alt-right-wing conversation, and it's really gross. Like they're using NPCs to refer to actual people, okay? They're using it as a strategy to dehumanize people so that they can feel less bad about talking about them in ways they talk about them. Like this is a classic strategy of they don't agree with us, therefore we see them as less than human. And that's really, really gross and like pretty similar to some other ideologies we've seen through history, I'm not gonna lie. Transgender people are 19 times more likely to commit suicide. What does that tell you? It tells me that the treatment they receive, the toxic hatred and vitriol they get just from existing is so harmful to them that 19 times more of them attempt suicide than other people. That's what it tells me. It tells me that people like this, who see that as a reason that they shouldn't exist, is exactly the problem. They don't seek for solutions. They don't seek to make the lives of trans people better, to reduce those rates. They use those rates as a way to attack them, and that is exactly the problem. That's what that tells me. End climate change seems to always translate to end capitalism. Whoa, no way, dude. You're telling me that people researching climate change, establishing the causes, establishing all of the things that make it bad, and finding out the roots of those leads to the fact that capitalism is an issue? You're telling me that activists who look into carbon and greenhouse gases, that find that corporations make 70% of all emissions, see that as a bad thing? No. Corporations making over 70% of all emissions can't possibly be one of the leading causes of climate change. Never. No, absolutely not. How could you possibly assume that those two are connected? S. Boycott everything Disney. I thought we were against cancel culture. Well, buddy, unfortunately, that is where you thought wrong. As it goes, conservatives, particularly MAGA conservatives, particularly the massive anti-cancel culture crowd, have never been against cancel culture. They've been against Republicans getting cancelled, but they've never been against doing the exact same to opposition. It's been something that's always happened, continues to happen, has been happening alongside all of the anti-cancel culture stuff the entire time. It's been happening the entire time. I want to put that out there. I mean, we even saw MAGAs making roadblocks outside Disneyland to prevent people getting into Disney, right? That was a thing that happened, okay? So we can't go pretending that they're actually against cancel culture. They do it just as much, sometimes in even more hatred ways, sometimes in even more hateful ways. I chose a degree in accounting because I'd always have a job, worked my ass off to graduate with a 5-year degree in 3 years, have no student debt, pay for your own decisions. How much was your tuition, and how was it paid for? My tuition was out-of-state business program, large university. My parents paid for it by not going on a single vacation, ever. Ah, yes. Pay for your own decisions, huh? So what you're saying is, regardless of what you actually did in university, your parents paid for your tuition. So that the whole first paragraph there, completely null point, void, doesn't matter. Your parents paid for your tuition. So your whole point of, oh, I did this and I don't have to pay off my student debts because your parents did. Not everyone has that luxury, bro. Not everyone has that luxury. Why is it ever since Rep MTG started humping Speaker McCarthy's leg in public for House Speaker, she no longer speaks out about the J6s? They promised to release the tapes to get to the bottom of the J6 hoax, yet nothing to date. We got played again by these damn grifters, so learn. The issue here is that January 6th wasn't a hoax, and if it was, evidence would have come out by now. MTG would have released that evidence and it would have supported her. She would have got more voters and more support by releasing actual evidence. But the fact of it is, that evidence doesn't exist. Stop going for grifters. Stop following people who are BSing you on things that don't exist. Learn, okay? MTG, Boba, Matt Gaetz, the majority of the Republican Party are all grifters. You only have to look at the vote records of Congress. You only have to look at everything they speak out about on Twitter, things they complained about, fuel prices. That was something they voted against changing. Baby formula shortage. That was something they voted against changing. All of these things that they voted against changing that they complain about. They are grifting you. They are deliberately dismantling and destroying Biden's presidency so that it looks like Biden has done a bad job, so that the next Republican has an easier time getting voted in. That's entirely the basis of the party right now, and their followers are constantly, repeatedly falling for it. So Mike, the guy that tweeted this, if you ever see this video, learn. Realize you're voting for grifters again and again, and that you keep falling for it. Learn. I am sick and tired of all these LGBTQP bacon, lettuce, and tomato flags in MW2. Please add a tick box stating, allow them to be shown. They are censored in the Middle East. Why should the Christian and Muslims be exposed to this nonsense? Ah, yeah. Using the Middle East as a moral statement is really the direction you want to be going, huh? There seems to be some very upset woke folk regarding my last tweet regarding the LGBTQP bacon, lettuce, and tomato statement. Apparently, snowflakes can't handle opinions. It is not an attack on any group. I just do not want to see 20 pride flags in a video game. Where are the country flags? Why do we need 20 pride flags to inform the other players of their sexuality? We just want to play Call of Duty. If my post offends you, too bad. Do I need to talk about the irony here? Good lord. So, we have an entire tweet about how this guy is upset about pride flags. He wants them banned like they are in the Middle East. He wants an option to remove them so that he never has to see them again because they offend him. And then, one tweet later, he calls LGBT people snowflakes. Bro, you cannot be out here calling people snowflakes if seeing a flag upsets you that much. Like, seriously, if you are are so fragile that seeing a flag upsets you, you have no right to be calling other people snowflakes. Starting in the 1870s, every 50 years there has been a major scandal in the US federal government. The last major scandal 50 years ago was Watergate. Are we due? What do you think it may be? If only there was a scandal that perhaps happened a couple of years ago. Wouldn't that be strange? Perhaps in January. Maybe crazy even on the 6th of January. But I just can't figure out what that could have been. What major scandal could have happened in the last couple of years? Who knows? Clearly nothing happened. I guarantee that not a single person in the comments brought it up either, because it was posted in r/conservative. The historical profession stumbles on the edge of ruin. History is increasingly rendered as a political morality tale of virtuous leftists combating conservatives. So history is ruined by leftists as well. Add that to the long list of things ruined by leftists. Leftists ruined history. If history has an ongoing leftist bias where it's shown that dictatorships, alt-right, fascism, all of those things were beaten by leftists, I don't think leftists ruined that history. Unless, of course, this person would actually... I was going to make a point. I was going to say unless, of course, this person would prefer that Hitler won. However, judging by a lot of these kinds of posts, I'm probably not far off. They won't actively say it, but they probably would prefer it. Yeah. They probably think that the leftists spoiled Nazi Germany, huh? And the final post. One can assume this, but we don't know this for sure. So the very common claim that denying gender-affirming care to trans kids will lead to deaths is not backed by research at this time. We only know that it's associated with suicide attempts. This guy is a health and science reporter. So let me get this straight, Benjamin Ryan. We can't assume that deaths will increase. We only know that suicide attempts will. That's what he just said. We have no evidence that suggests deaths will increase. We only know it's tied to suicide attempts. So, if there's more attempts, does it not stand to reason that there would be more successful attempts? In general, just statistically speaking, if there are more attempts and the total attempts go up, then the total successful ones will too, ultimately resulting in an increase in deaths. Yeah? That's what you just said. In a post where you said there's no research that will show that there will be an increase of deaths, you also went on to say there will be an increase in attempted and probably successful deaths. This guy is a health and science reporter. That the reply just genuinely summed up. Dude, this dude is dumb. Like, genuinely. I think I've mentioned before that if you have to turn to insults, then you're probably losing. But like, you can't combat idiocy with logic in a lot of cases, okay? And this person is lacking logic, so trying to use reason to get them out of a mindset that they didn't use reason to get themselves into, not gonna work. This dude's a lost cause. If he can't see what he just said, he is a fully lost cause. And that's where I'm gonna end the video, everybody. If you want to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below, or equally you can click the join button on the channel to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. If you liked r/SelfAwareWolves and want to see more videos of this, and if this does okay, let me know, and I'll probably do more in the future. If this absolutely flops and no one liked it, I just won't do it again. Special thank you to all of my YouTube members and patrons for supporting the channel. All of you are incredible, wonderful people, and all of your names are on screen. So thank you so much, all of you that support me. Incredible, wonderful. I love you all. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.